Have they figured it out that the identity piece of this is more important than the actual substance behind it?
Well, they've been doing it for decades. I mean, we've saw the welfare queens. They've seen the Southern strategy. We've seen it over and over. It's an old playbook, and we're as dumb as we want to be that we allow them to do this with CRT and ESG and DEI and every three-letter word.
And then they demonize people.
Yeah, demonize, and they weaponize grievance. They other people. They talk down to people, past people. They humiliate people. They weaponize difficult issues. But the bottom line is, and I think it goes back to what we began with, is, and I applaud you for this, is we cannot continue to be on the defense reacting to this. We've got to go on the offense. We got to meet people where they are. But I also think this, and this is where, this is part of the conversation I'm trying to have, is you got to respect people you disagree with, and you can't just dismiss people.
How do you fight it?
This
I
notion
think
of
I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they wanted to. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
Man, boy, did that start a party. Joining me today, always an honor and a pleasure. Anytime I get to speak to Mr. Mayor Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. Kane, but it's funny when two worlds come together, isn't it, sir?
It absolutely is. Thank you for having me on, big man. I really appreciate it.
Always. Well, you're just becoming a little, you're over, brother. Like, every time I turn to TV, I see your smiling face. Like, you are definitely in the shine, sir. Well,
when someone throws a fastball, well, actually that was probably hanging curve on an 0-3 count right down the middle, I'm probably going to take a swing.
Yeah,
that's what that was.
And it was when that statement came out, I think I tweeted like within 6 seconds of seeing the interview. I was like, because I knew the line was going to be long. Who was going to
sure, right?
And then lo and behold, when I had never known you to be a booker before, and it's become, I'm getting asked about it, but you have taken this to the whole other next level to where it's a charity event, and then someone made me an awesome thing where it's the great Hall of Fame tag team, which is of course the Undertaker and yourself, Brothers of Destruction, but for one night only. Brothers of Tesla in a truck. I think that it might. I don't know if it's going to be as big as the Mega Powers, but it might be. But it's the things that people say, and of course, we're having some fun with this, but the responsibility from politicians, it just seems like it's not there anymore. To make these ridiculous statements, especially in light of what's happening. With Tesla, with the terrorist attacks on there, you kind of miss decorum. I guess that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it is tragic, actually. And when you watch that video and you see Gavin Newsom, who is making some great points, actually. Now, the things that he was talking about, I would argue he's wrong. There is such a thing as CRT in our schools. Otherwise, why is it when the state governments try to ban CRT in their schools? Oh, we're not teaching that. Well, okay, cool. Well, we could just ban it. Well, you can't do that.
Exactly.
DEI is an issue. And, it's not, I mean, man, I'm all for different people. I get it. But we need to have a meritocracy in this country. You shouldn't be just treated differently because you belong to a group, right?
Yeah, one way or the other.
That's how the country used to be. It was a big problem. Yep. And now it's almost like it's swinging back the other way. But he was making some really good points. Can you imagine? You could see his face and how he had that nervous laugh, and it was like, oh, no, this thing just went completely off the rails.
Yeah.
Because Tim Walz basically ran his big mouth about something. He wrote a check now that there's no way he can ever cash.
No, literally and figuratively, what pains me is that it's not just Tim Walz who's the one thing I'm seeing is I feel like, we used to get, and not to give away too much of the magic show that we got to be a part of, but there would be certain rules, where like everyone would be like, hey, don't do this tonight. I'm going to beat his arm up. You beat the leg. Like everyone had a plan or an idea because the goal was to be an individual and be remembered, right? Because if everyone does the same thing, the guy who did the same thing the best is going to be the one who's remembered. So now we have, instead of them going out and speaking their mind and trying to make the best statement for their constituents, now they're getting a memo with like everyone's doing the same move tonight. And it looks like the new memo says cuss as much as you can and insult them beyond the pale of acceptance, to where even people who are avid cussers like myself, but I will argue it is a tapestry, that I don't think that's going to work. I don't think it is working. Just for a perfect example, I'm going to listen to Jasmine Crockett here, number 18. Listen to her, this comment she made about Governor Abbott.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
And no. That was a trash statement. What bothers me about this is it's across the board. Like I guess that's the new thing. I guess they're trying to be hip and cool. Do you think it's working?
Yeah, 100% agree with you. It's funny, too, because when I was hearing those beeps, I was like, who's trying to call me? Oh, she's cursing.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I think what has happened, you're exactly right about a memo going out. And I think a memo went out among Democrat consultants and strategists that Donald Trump won the election because, and the Republicans are hot because they portray tough and strong.
Right.
Well, they are tough and strong. No matter what you might think of Donald Trump, he is a masculine dude. And they have confused style with substance. They think that just going out and saying those things and acting that way and trying to be tough and trying to be hip by dropping cuss words in formal settings, that makes them they go, right? It's almost like if someone were to put on a silver and black jersey and say, hey, look at me. I'm the Oakland Raiders. I guess the Vegas Raiders now.
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm the Raiders. Yeah. And then you realize that the Raiders had Bo Jackson, right? These Raiders, the Democrats, they've got Bo Derek.
Yeah.
And there's a big problem with that. Trump backs his style up with substance. And that's the issue.
And I think that's what hurt Tim Walz so much, was that they tried to paint this picture of him that he wasn't. And instead, you don't have to be a manly man to be a man. You don't have to be, a guy who's an outdoorsman if you're not. There's nothing worse for a man to pretend to be something you're not. Because the American people, especially other men, will see right through it. That hunting thing was one of the saddest displays I'd ever saw, because he clearly had never held that gun before. He was completely uncomfortable, and it was like, but he was trying to portray this image that real men don't portray. Aggressive guys who live outdoors and an alpha male type that they were going for. You can't BS us, because we see right through it. That's the whole point. That's why guys don't have to conversate to get to know each other. Within the first few seconds of seeing a guy walk up to you, whether you like him or not. It's just kind of like, oh, yeah, he looks, So I feel like, and now he's angry at us for giggling at him.
Sorry, I'm giggling.
Yeah, but it is.
But it's true. It's true. And you're exactly right. These guys are acting as if they were movie stars, if they were TV stars, as if they're pro wrestlers, frankly, as if they're paid actors.
It's a gimmick,
and they're not. First of all, they're not very good at it.
No.
But second of all, yes, you don't portray that. You are that. And people see right through it when you try to be something that you're not, especially in this day and age where social media is ubiquitous and you can't control a narrative anymore. So they've got a real issue in that. They're trying – they've alienated vast swaths of the population. First of all, toxic masculinity. Well, I'm a guy. I consider myself kind of masculine. I didn't like that very much because I'm not an aggressive jerk. That's just, I'm a guy. That's who I am. Then you turn around and you push the transgenderism to the point now where when you look at the numbers and the self-reporting of young people who believe they're transgender has skyrocketed as a percentage compared to what it was years ago. Why is that? Well, because we talk about it all the time and we've made it hip and cool. Then you put men in women's sports.
Yep.
right? I have 2 daughters. My daughters are awesome. They're very strong people. I don't want them playing volleyball or basketball or anything else against boys because physically they just can't match up.
Yeah,
That's
I got
not
3 daughters.
That's just how we are.
Yeah, I got 3 daughters and a son, and one of both. My son does jiu-jitsu, and my daughter wants to do jiu-jitsu. I'm not putting her in with him.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like you don't do. It's just certain things you don't do. These are norms that are understood. They're not even 20/80 debates. It's like 199. And to get on that one side of it. And again, here's the other thing that and here's the part of being a man. It's not just the macho stuff that they grossly inflate. It's the accountability. It's the best thing about a man is when he knows when he's made a mistake and he's wrong and he apologizes or he goes too far. I'm not above it. You're certainly not above it. Not every decision you've made is the right one. And when it needs correction, you'll be the first one in line to correct yourself because that's how you lead by example. So, with this Crockett situation is with the calling Governor Abbott Hot Wheels, you're out of line. You were wrong. And you shouldn't have said it. It was no class. And you've said it before and you said it again. And then instead of apologizing, you try to lie about the comment. It meant something else. What else could it have been? Was he sitting with a large collection of little Hot Wheel cars at a table? Is he an avid collector? No. So you made the comment, and this is what bothers me the most about left-leaning media and mainstream media. They never call them out the right way. It's always has to be a compliment and a protection and a small critique. Like listen to The View here criticize Crockett, and I use that word criticize loosely. Number 20.
She should not have made the comment at all.
You should leave that stuff to the comedian.
This was beneath her. Yeah. She's just too good for this.
I agree with that because I respect her, but it's just never okay to mock someone's disability.
Yeah, I admire Jasmine Crockett. I do think she's an effective messenger. I think this was a mistake. Yeah. And I think when you make a mistake, you have to own it.
Like the apologies are in the criticism. Like call her out for it. What you did was classless. It was disgusting. Listen, when President Trump made the thing where he was that reporter was going at him and he made a little arm joke, everyone called him out and was like, "Hey, man, that's not cool." Like you go. I say things. I push the limits as a comedian sometimes, and if I go too far, I'll be the first one to say like, "Hey, my bad." But there's a certain level. But this wasn't a joke. This was an attempt to try to be, they got that thug memo and the F word memo, because that's the other one. All of them say the F word now, but it's out of context and never used in the right way. So, and I feel like where they push accountability, but they do not practice it at all.
Yep. 100% agree. Brother, could you imagine, going back to Walz, could you imagine if I had said that?
Oh.
Could you imagine if Donald Trump had said that?
Or I had said
we would be torn apart, intimidating people, threatening people.
Violence, calling for violence.
Yeah, threatening violence. Exactly. But when the left does it, when the Democrats do it, okay, cool. They said something they should have, but they're good people. Let's move on. And as far as Jasmine Crockett, yes, you know what? As a Republican, I want her to be the spokesman. Absolutely, 100%.
If I was a strategist.
100%, because we will never lose an election as long as she's their spokesman.
I would start booking her.
Yes,
come speak at my events before I went out.
Exactly.
I'd be like, yeah, please, I'm running again. She's not even in my district, but this is what we're running against. And it's just, and you make a great point. Could you imagine if you and like I've had issues with Facebook, who continues to run fake accounts of me and trying to fleece people out of money and bookings and, romantic relationships with all these people. Apparently fake Tyrus is a hot commodity on Facebook these days, right? But I'm upset and I'm frustrated with it. I've contacted Facebook several times. I'm like, listen, I don't even have an account. So there's no, I don't even have a Facebook account. So these people who are doing this, but you know what? At no time did I call for all my fans and friends and wrestling brothers to go out and vandalize Facebook buildings, or you see anyone on Facebook walk over and snatch their phone out their hand and tell them, that they're a Nazi. And we're seeing with the stuff with Tesla, we're seeing this type of behavior that is inspiring the worst of our society to come forward and do things. And you would like to see some accountability. And it looks like the only way you're going to get that accountability is by voting. through the American people.
Yeah, the media is not doing it. I actually sat down with a local media outlet recently to talk about the Walz match, and I said something about the attacks on Tesla, and they said, well, both sides have condemned that. And I'm like, no, they haven't. There's only like one or two congressional Democrats who have said anything, and that's it. You look at the Summer of Love, cities burning, and literally you have some dude standing in front of his background is a city on fire, and the ticker across the bottom is mostly peaceful protest.
Yeah,
fiery,
mostly peaceful. That's like being mostly dead.
Exactly. Yes. So it's backfiring now, though. If you have any common sense at all, which Americans do, the vast majority do, you can see right through this. And I think a lot of it is they're just so desperate. The Democrats are so desperate to get back in power. The mainstream media is so desperate to have them back in power that we're literally living, and we did it in COVID too, right?
Yep.
We're literally living in 1984, where they're just inventing narratives. It doesn't matter what the reality on the ground is. It doesn't matter what the facts are. They just say what they want to say. And the problem is when you see the world, when you're out there and you're walking by a Tesla car that's just gotten keyed, or you're on the internet and you're seeing how idiotic could you be to go up and vandalize a Tesla which has cameras on 360 degrees? Right? You're getting filmed while you're doing it, right? But when people see that, they're automatically sympathizing with Elon Musk, so it's backfiring on them.
Yeah, I think it all is backfiring. I think and we have to leave it there. But I will say, I think the common understanding of this is common sense, ladies and gentlemen, common sense. And don't wear bright pants if you're going to do bad things to a Tesla. It's easier to spot you with a camera. But anyways, man, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time. And then I'm still training. I'll be ready when I get the call.
Sounds good. If he reaches out to me, you'll be the first to know.
All right.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.